Hello there. Here is an example analytical paragraph on characterization for all summer in a day. I wrote this so you can have an example to be walked through to help you write your own analytical paragraph, maybe about characterization, at the end of this week. In Ray Bradbury's science fiction short story All Summer in a Day, Bradbury's main character Margot is characterized as weak and emotionally unstable to illustrate how central nature, particularly the sun, is to humankind. Bradbury describes Margot as, quote, a very frail girl who looked as if she had been lost in the rain for years, end quote, and described her breaking down by, open quote, clutching her hands to her ears and over her head, screaming, the water mustn't touch her head, close quote. By showing that Margot seemed weak, looked washed out, and even had breakdowns when faced with water, Bradbury establishes that she has had her health, appearance, and sanity affected detrimentally by the rainy weather of Venus. The absence of sun has actually damaged her to her core, illustrating how the sun and nature are vital to human beings. Through his characterization of Margot, Bradbury presents the power nature holds over humans. What a fantastic paragraph I wrote. Now we're going to break this down into the different sections. Our topic sentence is in red. It introduces the argument, tags the work, and tells the reader what elements will be the focus of the paragraph. Notice that the argument is that nature is central to humankind. And the way we'll be focusing in this paragraph is in the characterization of Margot and how she was characterized as weak and emotionally unstable. And then to tag it, I show the title, the author, and the genre. That's all that a topic sentence should include. It is the most important sentence in the entire paragraph because it does lay out exactly what it is we're going to try and argue. Next will be the evidence. Bradbury describes Margot as a very frail girl who looked as if she had been lost in the rain for years. Hey, do you know why that's in quotes? Because it came directly from the text, as did this part about her clutching her hands to her ears. Now, the reason I put it in quotes is to show that it came from the text, but I didn't put a citation telling you exactly where it came from in the text because we're only working with a short story in these analytical paragraphs. So I don't feel like you need to worry about it in this case. Notice that instead of just throwing in the quote by itself, I gave the context where we were talking about Bradbury describing Margot and also showing where she broke down before I used the direct quotes from the text. Something you should keep in mind is that if you just drop a quote in there without context around it, it doesn't look like you know what you're doing. So don't do that. Next up is the explanation, which is the trickiest part to write. This is where you actually explain how your evidence proves your point. The first sentence, what I usually do is look for the evidence and explain the impact on it. I'm saying that she's weak, where she's a very frail girl. She looks as if she'd been lost in the rain for years. She looked washed out. And her breaking down by clutching her hands to her ears and over her head, that's her having breakdowns. So by showing those three elements, it establishes that she has had her health, appearance, and sanity affected detrimentally by the rainy weather of Venus. So that's explaining the impact of showing those, but now we tie it back into the main argument that nature is central to humankind. The absence of sun has actually damaged her to her core, illustrating how the sun and nature are vital to human beings. Now we just throw in a concluding sentence where we're basically restating what our argument was and what our focus was in this paragraph. Through his characterization of Margot, Bradbury presents the power nature holds over humans. This is a pretty good paragraph, but I bet you could do better if you put your mind to it and you just believe in yourself. Thank you for watching this video. I hope your home life is treating you well.